Last week, we heard from a good senator from the 27th District about the passing of Congressman Kildee. And just a few days later, my good friend and former Congressman Dan Benishek passed away. Dan Benishek was a good man who grew up in tough circumstances. His dad was an iron miner and was killed in the mine. And Dan and his brother were raised by his mom alone in Iron River. Very poor circumstances, really hard life. And Dan went on to U of M, study medicine, eventually to Wayne State, and went back to the UP because he knew the people up there needed medical care and that it was hard to get. He loved the people of the Upper Peninsula. He loved the area and his family. Had a beautiful hunting camp that somehow ended up on the pictures of flyers and stuff to try and get him out of office, but Dan didn't care. He was a guy who ran for office because he was just tired of all the nonsense, tired and frustrated by it, decided in very early 2010 that he was going to run for office. And he and I ended up our very first campaign stops to circulate petitions at the Pine Mountain ski jumps, the first place. And I had just heard he was getting into and went and sought him out. And he invited me to hang out with him that night for a little while at his place with his wife, and we had a great visit. He didn't know this, but I knew it, that he had actually operated on me 10 years earlier. And of course, he had operated on thousands of people, so he wouldn't remember one person, but I remembered what a strange, quirky sense of humor the guy had. He was unusual, but he was running for the right reasons. And while he might not have been in office as long as some of the real notable folks that we often memorialize on the floor here, and rightly so, Dan only served 6 years, but he loved his area, and he worked really hard to read every bill, to know every line that he was voting on, and to make that decision on whether it was the best thing to do for the people of the 1st Congressional District, especially the Upper Peninsula that he loved so much. Dan got sick here a little while back and died in the car telling his wife that he loved her on the way to the hospital. And so I just wanted to say a few words to memorialize Dan, to recognize someone who, like so many of us, just had a real job, had a real family and things to do, and set it aside, sacrificed it, because he cared about his country. He cared about the place that he lived. And if all of us, each one of us work hard, we'll usually find that's what we said why we're here too. And so thank you, Mr. President, for giving me a few moments to speak about my friend, Congressman Dan Benishek, and his recent passing. I'd like my remarks printed in the Journal.